Hey everybody, this is your Professor David Britt coming to you today from Palacio de Santa Paulo in, where am I? I am in Granada, Granada, Spain. Had to think about that for a second. It's a little rainy outside today, so I've been in most of the morning just grading papers, doing um, audio commentary on your papers, and so I wanted to get out right here before lunch. I wanted to talk about Granada. It's raining outside, so I'm not going to be doing anything from Granada here. So you're not going to see the Alhambra and other places. Sorry about that. But this hotel is really interesting. It used to be a convent, and it's connected stone's throw to the big Catholic church here. And it was a convent in the 1600s. And you'll see this in Spain quite a bit. The Spanish folks, and actually Portuguese as well, because I've spent a lot of time in both countries, will do things with their historic locations. They'll do a public-private partnership where they will turn historic locations that could fall into disrepair. They turn them into hotels and other types of things. And so this hotel is part of the Marriott Autograph Collection, and just absolutely stunning. Let me see if I can pan around here. This is the inside courtyard, and they have 2 or 3 different courtyards with different cloister settings and other things. Just absolutely lovely. And this time of year, it's reasonable from a cost perspective. Also in Spain, they call these places, not this necessarily this one, but the ones that are currently run by government organizations, they call them paradors. In Spain, they call them posadas in Portugal. And we've stayed in several over the last 20 years in Spain. We actually stayed one night in the castle owned by the explorer Fernando de Soto, which was kind of a cool deal. So a little bit about hoteling in Spain. I want to give you an introduction to Module 4. Module 4, you are over halfway through the class. Can I get a hooray, right? So you're over halfway through. Hopefully you found the videos that I've done on your grading helpful. Excuse me. And I'm going to continue to do that throughout the rest of the class. In Module 4, you're going to be reading 2 chapters in your textbook. Chapter 8 deals with evaluating. How do you evaluate your sources? And then Chapter 9 deals with problem solving. I mean, let's face it, most of the papers that you will write from an academic perspective are solving problems, right? And hopefully you saw that 6-step process that I had and that I explained in the gradebook this last week, because actually identifying the problems or opportunities and then solving those problems or opportunities are a couple of key areas that you have in papers. So those are 2 chapters this week on reading. And then in the APA manual, you're going to talk about mechanics of style in Chapter 4. And in Chapter 5, tables, figures, and charts. Now, one of the cool things that I like to see in papers, I like to see tables and charts and figures, and the main reason is, rather than writing 3 pages of something, sometimes a chart can, excuse me, can handle all the content that you'd have in 3 pages off of one chart. And so the APA manual this week will give you some ideas on how to do those, how to format those, and then perhaps how to refer to those as you write your papers. The discussion board this week talks about techniques for evaluation. You're going to be reading about that in Chapter 8. And so I'll be really interested to see how each one of you will use the different techniques that you're presented, and perhaps there are some that were not included in the text that you can find elsewhere to be able to effectively evaluate the sources. I mean, let's face it. This past week, with all the stuff with the Catholic Church and the Native Americans and all the other stuff going on, evaluating whether a source is credible or it meets your criteria, really important, right? And it's in short supply today. So pay particular attention to that. I'll be interested in your discussion board comments. The short answers this week talk about collection strategies for problem solving. And this is something where you can not only identify them for me, but then put those into practice as you're looking for different sources for your paper as you continue. That's one of the things I want to make sure you do. I want to make sure that you continue to go to the CSU online library and add sources as your paper continues to develop over the next few weeks. And then writing this week, obviously I'm going to be looking at my prior comments as I grade your existing papers, so make sure that you incorporate all the items that I had talked about from the current module. I'm going to be looking at supporting materials this week to see what type of quality you have. I mean, this week talks about quality of evaluation. Then, if you're going to be give me Google results and blogs and Fox News or MSNBC, probably not going to be real impressed with your sources this week. So make sure you become best friends with the CSU online library. Also, talk about solutions to problems. So I want to make sure that there's some symmetry in your program. Again, I want to make sure you're following that 6-step process that I talked about in the grading for this past module. And then the test this week will be about credibility of sources. One of the things in the reading piece this week too is that the CSU online library, they have a link that I've given to you that talks about evaluation of sources. So make sure you go through that. They have some pretty darn good information in there on that. Okay. Hope you have a great week. Tomorrow morning, headed out to Seville. And so you will, in all likelihood, see something from me and for the next module from the town of Seville. I think it's the second largest city in Spain, known for salsa and all kinds of other stuff, but you won't see me doing that. All right? I spared you. Take care. Have a good week.